Hello, I'm Loz and welcome to Gunpar's workshop. You're very welcome. Today I'm going to talk about my 3 routers and my journey to where I am today before I do a proper unboxing of the Trend T11 EK router. So those of you who have been watching for a while know I have an uneasy piece with routers. I didn't like my original cheapo router, it scared me. Brought back a little when I wanted to do some trim, so I got myself a little Aldi Work Zone 500 watt trim router. Hasn't had a lot of work out of it, but it sort of eased me back into the routers. And then recently, when I needed to chip in for some kitchen working with number one son, we bought a Trend T11 router to get the job done. Now I'm pretty much router agnostic, but having chose that originally because of its soft start, its power and the micro adjustment both on the plunge and the edge attachment, I went with that. And having used it, I seem to have gone down the Trend rabbit hole and I've started buying some of the jigs. When I decided I wanted a table router, workshop table router, the Trend WRT table router was the cheapest, best, cost-effective solution. So I got that, and because the T7 seems to be the only Trend router in their series, T4, 5, 7, 10, 11. T7's the only one that won't work with their router table. I had to choose another one, so I chose the T11, which has some features over and above the T10, which make it worthwhile going the extra mile, so I did. So that's the background to it. The idea is 3 routers in the workshop. That'll be the workhorse for above table working, and I've got some ideas on craft items to make with that. That'll be handheld for doing quick trims, and I'll probably have a round over bit permanently in it. And this one, although you can get quick release catches so you can have it under the table and handheld, is probably going to be permanently under the table. So 3 routers, like they all say, like boilers and underpants, you always have 3, 1 on, 1 off and 1 in the wash. Let's do the unboxing. Right, I'll do the usual tour around the outside of the box before we open up our present. Nice box, hints of a quality blown plastic case with the foldable handle unlike for the T7 where it was just all moulded in front. So it's the T11 EK, 2 kilowatts, 2000 watts, fully variable electronic speed, and I'll show you the speed on the back. Workshop router, 2000 watts as I say, for half inch shanks. It comes in the box with a 1/2 inch router collet. The supplier I got it from threw in a 1/4 inch 3 as part of the package, which was a nice bonus. A full 80mm plunge on the router, and it has superior guide bush technology, so phosphor bronze bushes. The actual chassis of it is lightweight die cast to keep the weight down, 6.2 kilos I believe. That's on the back, we'll come over that. That's a picture of the router. The base comes with 1 flat side and a clamp guide, so you can actually run it along a guided clamp rail, which is good. Saves me wandering off and losing that straight line. Superior guide bush accuracy. Now, it has a larger cutter aperture in the base frame, so above table, using it handheld, it can take 70mm cutters, and because of this larger aperture, it'll take in table the moulding bits up to 83mm, I believe. That's a stonking, that's a stonking cutter to have on your table. Featuring the built-in quick razor. So as well as the height gauge on the left hand side, on the right hand side there's a built-in micro adjust bar and star knob, so you can do fine adjustments on the height. And also when it's under the table, in the picture here, there's a hole in the base that works the height adjuster from the top of the table, so that is what you adjust your height for from the top of the table. Using the miracles of Lazy Susan technology, we can spin it round to the back. Another picture of the Trend router, and then some of those details I mentioned. 0 to 80mm plunge, 2000 watts, takes 1/2 inch router bits, fully electronic speed control between 8 and 20,000 RPM via a dial on the top of the router. 6.2 kilograms, so it's fairly light, a bit heavier than the T7, but manageable. Fully electronic. It'll take 70mm maximum cutters above table, 36mm diameter extractor, and the Trend base configuration. So aside from the T7, all the Trend routers have this same configuration of holes for putting it in a router table insert. In the box, the 1/2 inch collet, at the usual guide bush, 30mm guide bush. Then because of the larger aperture, you have a guide bush inner plate, so you can use it with the plate or without, depending on the size of your router bit. And then a line-up pin, which is, you know, in order to center the guide bush, you put the guide pin in the collet, so in place of a router bit, and you use that, and you use this line-up pin to center your guide bush in the middle of the aperture, so the router bit is in the middle of the guide bush. It's all new to me, but I'm learning as fast as I can. There we go. Now, also in the box, you have the usual plastic dust hood extractor, which takes a 35mm hose, and it's a quick release insert and twist to take out of the router body. 22mm spanner, and as I say, that height adjust. And as on the T7, which marked it out from the other price bracket routers, it has a micro adjust on the slide fence, which tipped the decision in the balance for the Trend when I looked at the other one. There we go. On the top, it's just more of the same. Quick run through the stats again. Picture of the router on its side, with pictures of the built-in height adjuster from both above and below, and again the stats. So let's take this cover off and I'll show you the case. Right, here we are. Sleeve off. That was a faff. Stiff fingers. A nice mouldy plastic case, badged up, so you can see front and side. Unlike the T7, it's got a pop-up handle which feels nice and firm. These catches are pressed metal, more or less the same as their T7. Not hugely impressive, but there we go. And there's the router. I'll show you a picture of it inside. There we go, that seems to be a completely different arrangement than the T7. So we've got quite a thick instruction book fitted in the hood here. And this is in its plastic wrap on an angle with the cable to the left. And I can just see various bits at the top. Right, I'll take these out and we'll come back again. A quick shot. That's the case empty. There's the moulding to hold the router. There seems to be a moulded in insert here to take whatever routers you want to carry out on site. Over to this side is the edge frame. Two really nice black and mild steel bars, and that's the quick adjuster. Very nice. I'll pause and lay out all the other bits. So the T11 is still in its bag. We'll unwrap that shortly. Laid out on the table. So we have the main elements of the sliding side jig, the bars, the frame and the collar. We have a set of knobs with springs, three knobs but only two springs and one split washer. There were some other bits that had escaped into the case out of the bags, and the spanner. Then that's the centering tool with some more two little engineering screws there. Over on this side, you can't really see it for the plastic. Let's move it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pieces of random plastic for the dust extraction. It's supposed to be quick release. I'm not sure how these are going to stand up to my clumsy fat fingers, but we'll see that when I get into installing it in the table. So that's the basic. I'll unwrap the T11. Oh, an update. You know, a minute ago I thought there might have been some parts missing. Well, in the light of these parts broke out of their constraining bags and made a bid for freedom, there are some pieces in the case down the back, because when I pick it up and shake it, that sounds like multiple pieces hiding behind the waistcoting, so I'll dig those out. Oh, and while I'm at it, just as an aside, I thought I'd do a direct comparison between the edge sliding jig for the T7 and the T11. So the T7 has thinner bars, a pressed steel yoke, and is overall narrower, although the quality of the plastic runners seem to be about the same. This is cast and this is pressed. Both have the micro adjuster. There we go. Right, here we go. All the preliminaries aside, I shall now unveil the T11. Oh, yeah, that is a bit heavy than the T7. So, as usual, I covered most of the details, I think. It's got the fully adjustable, fully electronic speed controller on the dial at the top between 1 and 6, between 8 and how many thousands I said on the box. It has phosphor bronze bearings on the 2 main pillars, and in the micro adjuster I can see them here. It's got the 3-pillar, so the 3-pillar depth stop for edging in, and a fully adjustable depth gauge here with a micro adjustment there. But then there's also the height adjustment on this side. Keeps it going down, going up. me, standing on his head, through the table, I'll be able to adjust the height of the router. That's it. There we go. Standard Trend base hull configurations, as I say, the larger aperture for larger moulding bits when in a table. I'll just show you the there we go. That's the aperture fix that goes in there to hold the standard 30mm collet, and you can buy different sizes collets for different sizes of router bits and standoffs. And you, obviously under the table you can have it or not have it for the larger bits. In the hand, it feels to me just like the T7, although a little heavier. I have the starter there that's on hand to the left thumb as I hold it from this side, and I can make the adjustments, the pre-adjustments there. Under the table, because I can adjust it to stand up, I'll be able to operate the collet with the spanner from above, although like all demountable handheld ones, on the T7 there is a collet lock there, so I'll have to instead of reaching under the table with two spanners to change the collet, I can raise the spindle right up, change the bit, tighten the collet, as long as I lock it from underneath with my thumb. So how I put it in under the table is going to depend on how easy it is to go and access that from the back. Right, so I'll run it on for you, not that that says anything over the microphone on the internet. I'll just give you a subjective view of the vibration and the soft start. There we go. There, I've learned something. The on button is actually underneath the handle there. On. So I'll do that again. Oh. No felt vibration at all. As I say, it is a little bit heavier than the T7. There we go. I think I've rabbited on long enough. That's just a taste of an unboxing. Next video you'll see it in the table and see how successful I am on getting it working. So you crack on in your workshops, guys. I'm off for a cup of tea and I'll see you in the next video.